Hi friends, this is Chris, welcome back. So I want to talk with you about what's going on in the market today and a couple big pieces of news which I think you should know. First, it looks like Nvidia has been crashing the last couple of days. I saw it was going 3% a day for a week, essentially, like every day it seems to be up. And eventually it has cooled off. It was basically right after those big headlines that it reached the #1 market cap in the world, right? Being the biggest company, and essentially a big sell signal, right? So I said all along it'd be really crazy if Nvidia would overtake Apple and Microsoft, which it did, but hence has cooled off. And this is essentially the problem that we've been facing in the markets recently is that all of the gains are based on this AI hype. I think Nvidia alone is 40–50% of the gains in the S&P, which is nuts. It's unhealthy, right? We're way overweighted in one particular company, and certainly we need to rebalance things. The other issue as well, there's some big news coming out from Apple. So Europe regulators are coming down on AI, and essentially Apple announced right before, it was that artificial what do they call it? Artificial Apple Intelligence. That's what they call it. I had to think about what it's called. They are integrating that new, Apple Intelligence stuff into their hardware, right? And the EU has already been cracking down on Apple for monopoly-type practices. So this would actually be an example of one. Essentially, customers, don't have a choice of what is in there. So, for example, let's say I release the iPhone and I make it the default Google, right? Now, to show you a different way that you could do it, you could say, turn on your phone, you open up, your browser, and then you have to select a bunch of, search engines, right? So 6 choices or 7 choices or whatever, opposed to just automatically making it Google. Apple makes quite a bit of money from that partnership. Now, there's another thing. So, for example, if Apple just says, hey, we're going to integrate AI throughout, everything, do we actually get to choose what kind, right? We know that Apple made a deal with ChatGPT, but what if I don't want that? What if I want something else from I don't know, some small company called Small Company AI or whatever, right? But I should have a choice of 6 different, or have a choice of if I want to integrate it or not. And so this is actually really interesting because from Apple's business model, maybe they've building this thing essentially from the ground up, and that kind of sort of hurts their whole ecosystem. So, for example, another thing that EU's been talking about is the way Apple does business with, say, the iPhone integrates with your computer. So, for example, iMessage, if you guys have iPhone, you may know exactly what it is. So it's basically you will send a message to your someone else who has an iPhone or Apple device, and I think it's blue, right? And if you send a message to someone who doesn't have an Apple device, it's green. And the basic idea is, though, you're encouraging people to use your Apple ecosystem, and Apple, will say, well, there's just, no way we can really incorporate Android and other types of devices into our messaging system because it doesn't work so smoothly. And this is something that, they'll make that argument. But this is something that you would say, no, you're essentially kind of forcing people to be in your ecosystem, and something that I think will be a real big problem for Apple going forward. Now, to be fair to Apple, guys, I use Apple products, and I actually really like having everything integrated. But if I could actually get the same functionality, say from an Android phone with my Apple products, and it just didn't feel anything different than the iPhone, then suddenly the world is wide open to me, and I don't have to buy an iPhone, meaning that I could look at any number of phones and just choose the one I think is the best hardware. Preferably frank, I buy Apple because it integrates well. So that is actually a big selling point for me, and I think Apple would lose quite a bit of revenue if consumers like me could buy basically the same kind of hardware with a very similar system, because these days Android's not that much different than iOS. It's not really that much different, and get the same features. Why pay more? That would be the question. The other thing too that is happening today is they announced layoffs over at Tesla have reached 14%, right? Before, I think Musk was saying it's going to be over 10%, and we had that other scammy YouTube channel. Was it the Electro Viking dude, right? The dude from Australia. He was saying, oh, if the layoffs get really big at Tesla, I'll cancel my channel, I'll quit. He completely reneged at that, you guys know. So we made fun of him for that thing. But this is actually real. I think Tesla's in a world of hurt. They're supposed to be a growth company, right? But they don't have any growth. And they're sort of resting their whole case these days on this whole robotaxi thing, which I think is crazy. You know, we could spend a lot of time talking about robotaxi in this video. We've done it in other videos. You can watch my other ones, but I actually want to talk about Tesla stuff, the whole robot thing, because a lot of you always write really, really smart comments. And there was a couple comments I think really stood out recently, which I want to share. First is, people are saying, okay, and this is earlier comments are saying, you know, I'm really looking forward to the robots because then humans can basically stay home, have more children. That's what people say, it's for real. And, you know, we can enjoy our hobbies and enjoy our lives much better, and we'll get all, you know, free, universal basic income, that kind of stuff, and basically not have to do anything, lift a finger, and we'll still make money. The issue with that model, if we all go to robots, is like, where's the tax revenue gonna come from? One person actually wrote in the comments I thought was interesting, that suggesting that, well, what we should do is like start taxing companies who have a bunch of robots, like tax the robots kind of like as people to try to generate revenue. And then that would actually give an interesting choice to companies of like, okay, do I hire a robot, you know, human or robot that is, or do I hire a person? Now, you know, these kind of conversations, this is years down the line, right? So you know, it's kind of silly to talk about it, but it's fun, it's entertaining on YouTube. Someone actually wrote a really good comment though regarding the robot thing. The recent one was essentially saying, you know, the question is, you know, what would be like if we, you know, sat at home all the day and did whatever we want, and you know, if we had robots do all the work. Well, we actually had that answer in COVID. So what we do, we stay at home, and I guess we play on our phones, and we do Robinhood, and we spread a whole bunch of conspiracy theories. So that's what we do. So you're here first. So and actually, maybe that benefits Elon, right? So Elon's like, hey, let's replace all the people with robots. Let's have people sit at home and spread conspiracy theories on Twitter, and you know, give him $8 a month, etc., and he'll make tons of money. And where do you get the $8 a month? The government will give people money to live, and then people give their money to Elon Musk, and Elon Musk wins, right? Rinse and repeat. So maybe Elon Musk does have a master plan, and then the plan after that, I guess, is we're sending a whole bunch of people to Mars. So if you watched my last video, someone actually had an estimate of, you know, which real estate on Mars is going to be the best. You know, I know we make jokes about this kind of stuff, but I want to keep you guys informed, and also sort of keep it light and entertaining so you can understand what's going on. Oftentimes people, you know, have the essentially burning question, you know, where do I put my money, these kind of things. So I'll give you guys a couple just real answers on this stuff. So one is, if you turn to many channels, they'll just say, throw all your money in index funds and you'll be golden. You turn your money to other channels and say, you got to get these hot stocks, etc. My answer is, why not do both? I mean, you can do whatever you like with your money. I think you should have a base, how can I say, foundation to build upon. So normally, you know, at your work, you want to do your 401k matching. So that kind of stuff. Index fund is pretty safe, and the other thing you want to be thinking about as well is maxing it out and take advantage of your tax advantage, stuff like that. So just make sure you're doing that. Don't touch that money. Don't gamble with that money. Some people do. We talked about that in the last video. Just don't touch it. Now, taking bets on individual stocks, you know, go for it. But the thing is, I'll say, is it's like, manage it well, meaning that allocate only what you can afford to lose, okay? Because when you start getting into the individual stock stuff, if you've never experienced a bankruptcy before, or corrupt accounting before, or a CEO that just freaking goes crazy, right? Like the Elon thing before, you don't realize the risks and the dangers that are out there. So that's probably my main advice for you for the individual stock kind of situation is just understand that the risks are real. The other thing to understand with this kind of stuff is most of the people on YouTube are frauds and scamming. I'm being real with you guys, and it's an unfortunate truth. You know, a couple of warning signs is if it's some kid in the 20s and you know, backwards baseball hat and say, oh yeah, I'm just the master, etc. I mean, come on, just let's be real. That person's probably only been doing this for like a couple of years. It's crazy. I always tell you guys the truth. I'm 49 years old. A lot of people don't realize that because they just think I'm some young, you know, 20-year-old kid. It's not the case. You know, most of the kids out there, they're kids. They don't know. They haven't really, you know, seen it. I saw the .com bubble crash. I saw the 08 crash. I saw the COVID crash as well. I've seen all sorts of crazy things. I share this stuff with you guys, and it's true. You can totally make money in a bubble. Completely true. It's also true you can totally lose money in a bubble. And so this is sort of like, as you live through these things, you learn to sort of temper your expectations and keep yourself in check. You know, part of what we have today, which we didn't have when I was a kid, is this access to the financial markets like all the time on your phone. That stuff's crazy, to be really frank. So for me personally, I don't really trade on my phone at all. I know for young people, you may. I do it all on the computer because then I have to, like, how can I say, consciously walk over to my computer, turn it on, get my mouse out, etc. I can take time to read through everything. I find the phone stuff not great because, like, let's say I'm doing a trade or doing something like on the phone, and someone calls me and I interrupt my mind, or I'm sitting outside like right now and like stuff is flying around, etc. And maybe I push the wrong button. It's just, I don't know, it's when you're talking about financial stuff, just for me. Now younger people may say, oh Chris, phone is much more safe and better than computer. I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess I'm old. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, understand that this stuff is in a game, and it is serious matter, and you do want to take it with all seriousness because there are real risks involved. And the more you take this stuff seriously, you'll get better at it, to be honest. If you always treat this stuff like a game, etc., you'll get burned, especially places like YouTube, because there's people out there that don't have your best interests at heart. And unfortunately, that is the world. They just made a video recently about that Graham Stephan dude. I mean, he's basically going to keep scamming you. The guy is actually not young anymore. I think he's 35. He's been doing the YouTube stuff for like probably 10 years now or something like that. So, that kind of thing where he's like, oh, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. Come on, guys. He's been doing it for quite a long time. You should obviously know better by now. But some people, they're so greedy, enticed by the money, and that's why I warn you guys and try my best to keep you informed. The other thing is too is actually it might just start raining here, so we're heading out to Vietnam. I live in Korea, but we're going to Vietnam in a couple of days, and I'll be sharing some sights and sound of it with you. I'm looking forward to it. Whenever you get a chance, get out of your sort of, how can I say, like normal daily life. Do something new. It keeps life fresh and fun, and always keeps you smiling. You always need something to look forward to. And for me, that's that. I'm looking forward to the trip and sharing, guys, with you. And I look forward to waking up every day and checking out the news because it's fun. I mean, I do this because I enjoy it, and I think there's unfortunately a lot of how can I say, misinformation, disinformation out there in the world, and I just want to tell you guys the truth on things and give you an honest opinion on this stuff. So thanks again for watching every day, everyone, and I'll catch you on the next video.